Hello and welcome to Bytes of Health, where we hope to take a bite out of your parent worries each day with sound advice and guidance. Every morning, we'll answer a commonly asked pediatric question in 5 minutes or less. I'm Dr. Jess Steyer, a public health scientist, and today I'm joined by Dr. Anthony Porto, a pediatric gastroenterologist. This episode is sponsored by the Gerber Medical Hub. Feeding babies is one of the many joys of parenthood, but there's a lot of conflicting information out there, which adds to the stress that some parents feel. So for this reason, we're excited to share that we've partnered with the Gerber medical team on a 3-episode fact or fiction series to bring you evidence-based information, debunk myths, and share the latest guidelines. The Gerber medical team is a group of expert pediatric dietitians dedicated to advancing the health and well-being of infants, toddlers, and young children. This is our 3rd episode in the series, and today we're diving into a crucial topic for parents: the importance of key nutrients in feeding, especially for breastfed babies. Let's address some common misconceptions and get the facts straight. The clock is ticking, so let's get to it. All right, Anthony, fact or fiction? Babies need nutritional supplements.
Well, this one actually depends. Breast milk provides infants with the essential macronutrients, the fat, protein, and carbohydrates, as well as most micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals. But there are 2 nutrients that babies who are breastfed need to be supplemented, and this includes vitamin D and iron. So first, if a child is solely breastfeeding or if they're consuming less than 32 ounces of formula, the baby may need a vitamin D supplement, because they may not be receiving what is recommended for this vitamin that is essential for bone health. We usually recommend supplementing with 400 international units daily, and this can be found in liquid supplements, and it can be placed in your infant's mouth or in their bottle if they're bottle feeding. Second, although iron supplementation is not needed for newborns, with the exception of iron maybe that's given to some premature babies, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends iron supplementation beginning at 4 months of life if an infant is consuming human milk, either partially or completely. And using liquid iron can be done. You supplement with about 1 milligram per kilogram per day is needed until you are adding enough iron-containing complementary foods, and this includes iron-fortified cereals, and into the patient's diet.
Got it. All right. Fact or fiction, Anthony? Introduction of solids before 4 months of life is recommended.
This one is fiction. Both the American Academy of Pediatrics as well as the Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommend no solid food before 4 months. Both expert groups recommend starting solids around 6 months of life while continuing to breastfeed or formula feed. There is a rare exception, maybe a medical reason where your doctor may advise you about foods before 4 months, but other than that, no food before 4 months. Why is this? Well, breast milk and formula provide the nutrients that babies need until this age when iron needs increase for growth and development. This is also when babies are developmentally ready. Starting solids too early can be associated with obesity and development of food allergies, and this is the age window where complementary foods can be safely introduced into a baby's diet. Once infants are at least 4 months of age, it's time to watch for developmental signs of readiness, like good head control, sitting up, and showing interest in your foods. Most babies are ready for solid foods around 6 months of life, and waiting too long after 6 months to introduce foods is really not recommended.
All right, next, fact or fiction? Food before 1 is just for fun.
We used to say this, but this is really fiction. So every bite before age 1 sets the stage for lifelong well-being. As babies grow, their nutritional needs evolve. 2 key nutrients that often need attention around 6 months of age are iron and zinc. Iron is vital for babies' brain development and overall growth, while zinc is another essential nutrient that supports a baby's immune system and growth. While breast milk naturally contains some iron and zinc, the levels become insufficient as babies approach 4 to 6 months of age. That's when introducing iron and zinc-rich foods like fortified infant cereals, meats, and beans become so crucial.
All right, fact or fiction? You should introduce 1 new food every 5 to 7 days.
This is also a fiction. It's too long. That window is just too long. So we usually recommend adding 1 food at a time to monitor for a reaction. And current recommendations, including that from the CDC, as well as the American Academy of Pediatrics, they recommend adding a new food every 3 to 5 days. But new research actually suggests that you can add this even more quickly and it can be done safely, especially the lower allergenic foods, including most grains, fruits, and vegetables, as most allergic reactions will become evident in a few minutes to hours. And quicker introduction promotes food diversity and may be helpful in allergy prevention. So typically after a few first foods are introduced, after about 4 to 6 months of age, you can then begin adding foods containing each of the top 9 allergens. We should be adding those one at a time, and these non-allergens include milk, soy, wheat, egg, peanut, tree nut, fish, shellfish, and sesame. But in addition, what I also like to do, being a gastroenterologist, I usually recommend a variety of foods that include the pea fruits, which include pears, prunes, plums, because when we introduce solids, sometimes stools can become harder, and these will help keep the stools soft and regular.
All right, one more question for you. Fact or fiction? Introduction of high allergy foods should be done at around 4 to 6 months.
This is a fact. Another concern is often raised for food allergies. Research actually suggests that introducing these potentially high allergenic foods early can reduce the risk of developing a food allergy. About 10 years ago, there was a landmark study that looked at peanut introduction and identified a reduction in the development of peanut allergy when peanut in the form of butter and powder were introduced early, between 4 and 6 months, as well as regularly, so at least 2 to 3 times per week after it's been introduced. And by doing this had helped decrease the development of a food allergy. But really, I think the most important thing is don't hesitate to introduce a variety of foods into a baby's diet. Remember, every baby is unique. Trust your instincts as a parent and seek guidance from the pediatrician if you have any concerns about your baby's nutrition or feeding habits, and if there is concern for high development of food allergies in the family.
All right. Well, I learned something. We hope you learned something, and we have lots more to share. You can get your Bite of Health every day, Monday through Friday. Special thanks to Dr. Anthony Porto for sharing his expertise with us today. If you like what you've heard here, let us know. Leave us a review on Apple and be sure to tell your friends. Remember, there's no single or best way to parent. Parenting is a journey, and we are all just doing our very best. We wish you happy, healthy, and stress-free parenting.